So, in the end of 2025, in the middle of November, end of November time, I was invited to a meeting. And typically, I would be invited to meetings because it's part of my job, right? We're corporate slaves, or people, let's just say people, not slaves, who would get invitations to meetings all the time, meetings about meetings, yada, yada, yada. But this one hit different, right? And this is the one meeting that I never really anticipated kind of coming into my diary, but maybe I could have foreseen it. And if you don't get what I'm trying to talk about, I'm talking about those typical corporate ways of letting you go or being made redundant. And last year I was made redundant, and it broke more than just my job and the lack of stuff that comes with job, like income and security and progression, all this other stuff. But basically, the end of last year, I was invited to a meeting with our managing director, HR people, all that stuff. That was my immediate red flag, and I knew what was coming. There was a history of it in the workplace, and in today's video, we'll get through it. But I wanted to share a bit more about it because I have brought it up in other videos, but never really took the time to dissect it, and just kind of thought, ah, this is something that's happened to me, but it's also happened to hundreds of thousands of other people. If you look at it globally, look on LinkedIn, look on social media, look on Google, it was happening on tech, and I really just want to get into it. So, where do we start? Typically, I don't think anyone ever expects redundancy to happen to them. Like, you'll hear about it, you'll hear stories, anecdotes from friends, family, people around it, but you just convince yourself oh, but I'm safe. I'm good at my job. I do really well. I achieve what needs to be achieved and do more and go above and beyond, and still get the same damn outcome regardless of you being good or bad at your job. And to give some context before we kind of dive into this any deeper, and if you also are kind of part of the same group of people that made redundant, I feel you. My name's Luke, LKE, that's my channel. We talk about everything here, talk about literally anything, man. And whether it's talking about life, personal finances, professional life, careers, dating, videos, online, drama, topics, news, everything. That's what we do in this channel. So before we really get into it, make sure you do leave a like, comment, subscribe. Go check out my other channel that I do with my partner Mel, Seek Distractions, and let's just get straight into it. Now, the workplace reality, before this even happened, instability was something I kind of normalized without realizing it, because one, I was noticing in technology, especially in the tech field, people were being made redundant because of AI, and technology was just kind of displacing humans. But if I actually looked into it in terms of my own workplace, there was a history of people being let go, change of direction, restructuring, all guised as actually redundancy. And they always happen somewhere else within the business. There was quite little reshuffling. So there was for example, one example was the business moved a particular function of about 100 people and condensed it to about 20 onshore, and then moved them all across into India. It's very typical of big corporate businesses that are looking to kind of reduce headcount or reduce their spend. And the easiest way to do that in business is to reduce people, get rid of people. That's where I always thought I was safe, because I was working in sales at the time, and typically leadership would reframe it as strategy, realignment, growing in other areas, or just kind of a change in strategy, full stop, right? As people in sales, you're effectively responsible for jobs of other people as well, because if you sell and do well, other people have jobs and delivery, and there's a whole lot of things that tail off of it. If you do bad, you're out. It's black and white, it's very simple. You start learning, especially I did anyway, is you start learning how to ignore the red flags when they're kind of wrapped in corporate language. And I kind of always knew oh, flipping hell, this is something that's going on in my workplace, but it will never impact me, and I kind of move on. You put your head down and just do the best you can. But when you kind of see these repeat behaviors, whether it's in your own business or across other companies who are doing the exact same thing in your sector, the alarms are ringing, the red flags are waving, and you start to really question what is actually going on here? What is really being the driving force behind this need to basically cut people from their livelihoods and make sure you're better as a business, but people that were actually integral to their business are now being let go of. And that is really one part that I never thought it was going to be me, but hey, it was me. So that really brings me nicely into the next part around I never generally thought it was going to be me, because I was oh, I've been in the company for 4 years, more at the time. Developed, progressed, promoted. Typical story. Felt kind of like in like dispensable in a way, where it's like, oh, I've got this locked down. I've got the results and progress that kind of reflect and mimic the progression I want to see and the career progression that they would expect from me as a contributing member of the company, right? How wrong was I? Like, I tied my self-worth to like being useful, hitting my numbers, doing better than others, working hard, and just thinking if I work hard, I'll be fine. I didn't realize then how much of my identity was around, being needed or just like doing my work. Not to say I was like the model employee. I think I was to some extent, but like there was other areas where like I knew I could have done better or put more effort in. But I sit here behind the microphone, and whether I did or didn't had no bearing on the outcomes. And if you're in a job thinking the same things, or there's like patterns of like this behavior around, there's other business units that are being let go of, or there's other things that are like just generally changing, you might start questioning yourself a little bit more and think, oh, maybe this is going to happen to me eventually, or like in 6 months down the line after listening to this video, you're in the same situation, or you're in this situation now. I feel for you, and I never thought it was going to be me. And it's like the meeting, the email before it kind of happened, and the letter, it kind of just felt surreal, because I was like, oh shite, like I need to know, obviously look at my package, see what's going to happen, cool. But it's like the emotional whiplash of like, oh, this is more than like being let go of, it's being made redundant. Like there's a fundamental issue here within the business. But I never really thought how hard it was going to be, because now that I'm in the job market looking, it's a whole lot harder than people really make it out to believe. From my perspective, I thought all of the noise was like from people just not able to really sell themselves or put themselves out there, apply to jobs, and really like have something about them. Don't get me wrong, there are going to be people who don't have qualifications or the skills needed, and they're just like moaning into the abyss. I get it. But I have 9 years of work experience as a 24-year-old. I've got my degree, I've got many accreditations, all this other stuff. Like on paper, typically like the normal path, right, in terms of like making sure I have stability in life, it doesn't flip in matter, bro. I was like so kind of destined for like this progression and stuff, and then I realized, oh, this is not really the case, right? So moving on, like losing was so like moving on, like this was more than just like losing a job and the identity and the passion behind it. Like it wasn't really just like a financial issue either. Like I'm completely fine, like from savings and investments, all this other stuff. Like I'll lovely. So like moving on, like it wasn't more than just losing my job. It was more of like my identity and passion for like working. I'm someone that thrives under structure, and just requires like a bit of hand holding in terms of that structure that I build for myself, of like, okay, every day I'm going to wake up. That means I've got these goals I need to achieve, these things to do, and that's going to make myself have a good day. Now that I'm waking up with no structure, no messages on Teams, no calendar invites, no urgency or that sense of urgency, I'm loving it, but also feeling like oddly useless, because I'm like, oh, I have the freedom to do whatever I want. What the hell do I do? And I think that's where the identity piece comes into, when people are identifying their like sense of belonging to their job. And for me, like I kind of felt grief, I felt shame, I felt anger. I've gone through like the ups and downs, almost like the stages of grief, whether it's like 5 or 7 stages of grief, whatever it is. I didn't just lose a job, but like I've lost my routine, a bit of a purpose, and definitely a version of myself that I thought was like him. Now I'm finding out the real version of me when all of that stripped away. I'm like, oh, we're very far away, but in reality that's a good point, because now I can start to work on that and really build something that like really means something to me, or like reflects on the person I want to be. So all in all, if you're in the same situation, it's not all doom and gloom. Obviously, if your financial situation, it makes you feel stressy because you do need that job, like you do need the income, you do need to make rent. Like I feel for you. I'm not in that situation, but like I feel you. I understand the stress because I see it firsthand, I hear it firsthand. Like it, like I'm luckily in a position where I'm not in that position, but I still feel those exact same stresses, because I know if I was in the other situation, I would already be like stressing my head off. But I am anyway, right? So it does make a difference. But it kind of leads on to the next point around, typically in the jobs, you'll be feeling like the sense of burnout, like before and after, because it's like I was exhausted before it happened, and I was running like on the adrenaline of pressure and just trying to make sure I achieved. And there was no space to actually like process emotions or feel anything. It was like, okay, I'm going to hit these targets, I'm going to do these KPIs, and then boom, in the evening I'm going to go gym, I'm going to go jiu-jitsu, I'm going to have dinner with my partner, and we're going to do whatever. Like there was a good routine, but I think that distracted me from how I was really feeling, or like the things I really wanted to do or achieve. I'm still on that path, but like people who are listening to this video will probably feel the same way, where like either you're unemployed or made redundant. It's the same damn thing. Not like the same cause that got you there, but like it's still like you're unemployed regardless. So you're probably like feeling burnt out from previous working, or burnt out because of the application process and talking to so many people trying to find something. And like my whole experience with this is really like, I want to say different, but like I've felt resentment to the people who made me redundant, and made, especially the person that made the decision, who like, bro, fights against this. Like the guy, he wasn't even in the business for like more than 6 months and already like said like cold calling doesn't work, which, I mean, for anyone that's in sales, you'll know it works. It's the best route to selling or getting in front of people. So when you have like a managing director of a big company say that, you just really, you're in for a ride, and you're probably going to be made redundant. I was hoping I was going to have my job in this year, right? Because then I could leave in the middle of the summer and do my things my own way. But in reality, it's pushed me to do it now, so here we are. But now I'm going through that whole stress of like finding a new job, and right now, like the core theme for me is literally just like routine and survival, because every day I'm waking up like super anxious and stressed, and I'm like just causing unnecessary pressure like on my own life and my own personal life. And now I'm just like, I should probably not do that, right? It's easier to say that, but now like you have to think about balancing your finances, looking for new jobs, and having other hobbies that you're still looking at doing, and keeping yourself like mentally and physically fit, going and doing the same things that you're doing when you had less time, but like now you've got all the time in the world. It's like, I don't even want to do them as much as I wanted to. I mean, I still want to go gym, I still want to go and train jiu-jitsu, and I still want to lift weights and other stuff, but like that motivation is different. That motivation comes out of a place of like survival and just doing something, as opposed to like fitting it in because your routine means you have to fit it in. Now it's more of a fact like you're transitioning, and I feel like a lot of the stuff that happens on this content on this YouTube channel is around like talking about transitionary spaces, things that are happening in your life, phases of you just going from like point A to point B. In reality, you want to go from point A to like point Z, but like you got to take these little steps bit by bit, and you're not going to just get there out of sheer luck. Like it's going to take some lifestyle design, it's going to take some genuine changes and effort to get you there. Redundancy has definitely been that kind of eye-opener for me, where at first I kind of was like, oh, it's what it is, like I'm gonna get paid out and I'm gonna be happy, and then it's like, oh, it really hits you when you no longer have to work, get on that laptop and just hear the same corporate nonsense you've been hearing for months after months, weeks after week. Like I definitely was one of those people that were like just so burnt out and bored of it. Like there's only so many times you hear about efficiencies, synergies, market stuff, techno, like all this corporate goy slob sounding stuff of like, this is what we do as a business and yada yada yada, and this is how we drive efficiency for customers. And like no one gives a single shit. No one gives a f, man. Like as much as you could pride yourself on this stuff, like do you ever go and think to yourself, like I'm asking this question to the abyss and to the people maybe doing this, but like do you ever just ask yourself like, what is this all for? Like what is the point? It just doesn't make sense. Like I know you have to work, I know you have to like contribute to society, make money and all stuff. Like I completely get it. Like I've been there, done that, and I will continue to do that, because it's just gonna have to be the way things are until like real financial freedom comes to me. But it's the fact that people are so bought into it, like in the older generation, people 5, 10, 15, let's say 10, 15 years older at least, like people in their late 30s, whatever, like they're so bought in and wrapped into it, they just can't escape it. And now I've been made redundant, I was like, oh, that was my like, get out of jail free card and get paid for it. Now what the hell do I do? Now, if you're in that same situation, you're unemployed or being made redundant, but you're obviously looking for jobs, like that's the main thing, right? That's my kind of like having things to do list is, one, be applying for jobs, right? You need to put yourself out there, dress up your CV, speak to as many people as possible, because you're going to not fall behind, but if you let things slip, day by day, week by week, these months will just evaporate. And the hiring process is long for people out there. Like, so many companies have all these like AI screeners and the applicant tracking systems, and it just makes your life harder. So for example, for every week you're pushing off a job or like applications, extend that by 4 weeks at least, because you're going to have to go through the initial hiring stages, the interviews, then the final stages, then offers, right? Every week you're wasting is a potential month of like salary, income, stability, right? So definitely get back in the hunt. But going back to kind of hobbies, make sure you have hobbies, right? Like, they might be seen to yourself as like distractions. They really aren't. They're just stability. They give you routine. They give you something to do out. They give you something to etch away out, new skills or something you're interested in. Don't make it something boring like watching TV or movies or whatever. Like, I've definitely been on a bit of a movie binge myself, like watching like classics, but that's just because I'm catching up on life. But I'm also like fitting that around like other stuff. If that's all you're doing every day, like you wake up and you're now binge watching like Sopranos or whatever, trying to finish it because you just have the time, cool, but you should do something productive at least. Like, be applying for jobs on the side, do stuff that's physical, challenge your brain, read books or whatever. Like, just do things that don't judge like your sense of character. Like, just do stuff that's more like creative and gives you that kind of itch and scratch of, oh, I'm going to do, I don't know, an hour of reading, then I'm going to, I don't know, go for a walk, I'm going to then paint, or I'm going to draw, or whatever it's going to be. Like, you need to find like little things to keep you grounded, but also just stop you from losing your sense of worth and identity. Because when, like, for example, your identity was your job or your sense of like career progression, that redundancy or unemployment would just take it from you, because it was like the thing you really kept close to keeping you going forward, of like that sense of worth, because you're like, oh, I'm going to do this and achieve this, and I'm going to get this outcome, and I'm going to get this money, and I'm going to do this. Like, it just is very, it just keeps you rigid in terms of like you're turning up every day, but it's not for yourself. It's like, it's for someone else under the guise of it being for yourself. And for me, it's like, I'm not going to pretend like this was a blessing. It's been destabilizing, like mentally, physically, monetarily. Like, it's scary. Like, it messes with my head. It's not been fun, but it has forced me to like realize something, that my value is never like in or around that one role, that one company or title. It's about like finding the things now like that help me through this transition phase, and I'm hoping the channel does that for you. It's definitely doing it for me. It's very cathartic to speak on there. If you're going through this like right now, like, you're not weak, you're not broken, you're not even behind, like, you're just really in that in-between space, you're in that liminal space, you're in that transition space where you're just looking for the next thing to do. It might come out of nowhere, but I can assure you the best way to do it and find it is by just trying different things. In a previous video I was talking about like fake it till you make it. Do that approach. Just try different things. Start a YouTube channel, start a TikTok, or like do something creative. Just do something that might not seem as like, oh, it's going to make money now, or it's going to be this or that. Like, it doesn't have to be for money. It could just be for your own mental sake of like, I'm putting a piece of myself out there and I'm hoping that it will pay dividends in the future by feeling immensely stable. Or you get a comment from someone saying, oh, I feel the exact same way, or, oh, Luke, I was made redundant as well last year and still haven't found a job. I'm like, I feel you, brother. Like, I'm in the same situation, right? But it's about like sharing and kind of being part of that like process, right? So in passing, I hope my rambling, I'm going to keep this as like a rambling thing, right? Like, I'm hoping my rambling keeps you guys kind of just engaged and going forwards. It's also been nice as well to play old games, or just games like without playing them. Like, just drive around and capture the footage for this. It's fun. It's a process. That's what you need to find. Find yourself a process and make sure you process this as well. Go leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It's been LKE. Make sure you go check out as well our Seeking Distractions channel. I'll leave a comment down below or description. Go check that out. Go subscribe. Go help us blow that one up. That's the one I care about a lot. This is my kind of personal space. If this ever does anything more than what it does today, amazing. Like, I love it. I love the community. And we'll probably keep going and keep growing. So with that being said, I need to go walk the dog. And at the time of recording, it's pissing down. So I'm going to go get absolutely soaked, walking the dog. And I'll see you guys soon. See you in the next video. It's been LKE. I'll see you later.